So to start this video off, sorry for not uploading. I have been both on holiday and playing the Elden Ring DLC and mentally destroying myself doing that. I'll get back on it now. But today I wanted to speak about a game that I've touched upon a few times on this channel very briefly. A game that I was personally very excited for. A game that could change space exploration in video games and open world games forever. And that game was Starfield. Starfield since launch has had a very rocky time. Even though it's rated quite highly in some places, if you look at the user reviews on those places, you can see what it's actually rated. And I think the start of this review sums it up perfectly. The game starts at an easy 7 or 8, pushing towards a 9. But then he keeps yapping on and yapping on, but I'll sum it up and say that I would rate it a 6 out of 10, because it does start off as a 7, 8 or 9, and then it just goes downhill because you complete all the missions and then you've got nothing else to do. The thing is, if the game came out in maybe 2015, even 2017, it would be regarded as a great game. But nowadays, the last thing people want to do is load into a planet with a fucking loading screen. As an example of how bad the loading screens can be, we'll go to the Space Pirate Headquarters space station, which I actually forgot the name of. To get there, you need to first jump to the system, which is a loading screen, or a loading cutscene. And then if you're on the wrong side of the system, you've got to basically fast travel to the other side of the system to the space station, which is another loading screen. And then you dock your ship at the station, which is another loading cutscene. And then to get onto the station, you have to exit your ship, which is another loading screen.
Brother, this guy stinks!
And then to actually get to the main part of the station, you have to walk down to the left into this door, which is another loading screen, and then you're in. And I could have done this in half the time if there weren't this many loading screens. I mean, fair enough jumping to the system, but it didn't need this many loading screens. It just breaks immersion and it's a bit tedious. It just feels so unnecessary. It feels so unnatural too. A lot of the game just feel boring as well. Like, I completed all the main missions at one point and then I landed on a planet to just go look around and scan things, and there was nothing there. Like I could scan dinosaur looking things, and then I could scan plants, and I could go to these bases where I could raid them and get the supplies for these other bases, but apart from that, that gets really repetitive. And then because the areas are procedurally generated, you'd have these good guy camps and the bad guy camps, and then the good guy camps would give you a mission to go destroy the bad guy camps, and that would pretty much be the only mission on those planets, and it would just get really repetitive and boring. It was like eating the old KFC fries. Bland. There's quite literally hardly anything to do on these planets apart from those missions that I just mentioned. Like, it just doesn't work. But obviously, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things that I do like about the game. Like, the combat's quite interesting, I love the persuasion system, the missions are really fun. But there's just a lot of things that weren't great about the game. But also, to be fair, like, it looks like we're getting some good updates for the game. We got cars coming to the game, we got the DLC, which looks pretty good, I'd say. But apart from that, I don't know what else is coming to the game, that's all I've really seen. But I think the reason the game failed a big amount is because of the fact that it doesn't have much mod support. If you look at Fallout 4, that's a single player game. Look at these numbers. Wow. Crazy. And then if you look at Starfield's numbers, they're literally like less than half the size of Fallout 4's numbers. And the reason Fallout 4 is still so popular is because of the amount of mods that it has for the game nowadays. Like, there's so much that you can do with that game. And Starfield doesn't even have the Shrek mod. Every game that comes out must have the fucking Shrek mod. This game doesn't have it. It doesn't have a Shaggy mod, Shrek mod, Thomas the Tank Engine mod. It doesn't have any of that.
Hamburger.
You see, Starfield has been going for a very rough time recently. It's been doing the worst it's ever done. The numbers just keep declining and declining, and I guess that's because it's a single player game, but again, look at Fallout 4, that's a single player game too. But a few weeks ago, Bethesda actually released the Creation Kit. And nobody returned.
Embarrassing!
The Creation Kit is basically Bethesda's way of putting mods into the game itself that you can spend actual money on or get for free. For instance, you can spend £10 to get like 1,000 credits that you can spend on some furniture. It's a bit like the Atom Shop from Fallout 76, but you can't actually get these credits in game. Many of the creations are free, to be honest, and that's quite nice that they are. But then a lot of them aren't free, and they're like quite expensive for what they are, honestly. Might as well just get mods from Nexus. One thing that sparked outrage in the community was Bethesda was selling a mod for 700 credits, which is £7. And the mod, it wasn't even a mod, it was 2 missions for the game that probably took 1 or 2 hours to complete. That is not worth £7. And as you can imagine, everyone was outraged at this and quickly left, because they just... £7 for 2 missions is crazy, man. And that brings me to the other part of the modding community. Nexus mods. The place where all the biggest mods are. When the game first came out, people were talking about there being like a Star Wars mod, you know, seamless co-op coming, like Skyrim being modded into the game. And I've got to tell you, They're all giving up on the game, man. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Just a few days ago, a mod that planned to like bring the whole of Elder Scrolls to one of the planets was just given up on because of lack of community support. Because there is like hardly any community for Starfield altogether. Starfield Together, the Starfield co-op mod, was cancelled once again because it said the quality of the game was so bad that they stopped working on it, which is awful. And if you go on to the Nexus mods, the first 3 pages, all there is quality of life improvements, performance enhancers, UI fixes, shaders, and achievement enablers. It isn't until you get to page 4 that there are actually like new ship parts that somebody has made. And that is like the only thing for the next 2 pages. Honestly, I think it's awful how Starfield has fallen. I think if they marketed this game right to the right people, instead of just making it out to be this huge game where you can go anywhere, do anything, it could have been so much better. Because they marketed this game as a game that would completely change space exploration games. But instead it's just this loading screen simulator. And I understand what they were doing. And I understand how it is a Bethesda RPG. It's going to be like that. But still, they could have marketed it right. And that's why Starfield is just kind of failed, man. Unless this DLC is good, which I really hope it is. But anyway, that's all for me today, guys. I want to say thank you very much for watching. And if you did enjoy the video, then, why not like and subscribe? It would be greatly appreciated. And, once again, thank you for watching. YouTube recommends this video. If you want to go watch that, then watch it. And I will see you in the next one.